I don't know why, but I figured it would be a great time to do a student edition video on the iPad mini 7 because my previous one is almost at 500,000 views, so it's only right that I'll make another one of those for you guys. I'm currently not a student, but my cousin who recently graduated with a law degree literally swears by this. Okay, so first things first, I want to highlight all the key points around this device, which include portability, pricing, note-taking, versatility and much more. And be sure to hit that subscribe button so we can bring this channel up to 5k. I mean, the thing that separates this from the other iPads is its form factor. This thing literally looks like an A5 notebook, and it can do a good chunk of what the iPad Pros and Air models can do. It's practically for those who still want that iPad experience, but just in a smaller size. At 7.69 by 5.3 by 0.25 inches and coming at a weight of 0.6 pounds, the iPad mini 7 is literally the definition of portability. It's so small and light that you might forget you're even carrying it in your bag. For me, this is definitely my favourite iPad to carry around on the go. And for those of you out there who just simply hate carrying a big device, this one is definitely for you. We still have the 4 speakers at the bottom, and they're pretty decent to say the least.
And he said, "That's very interesting, David," and goodbye. Off I went back to my room.
The volume buttons sit in the same spot, a USB-C port, and a power button that also functions as a Touch ID sensor. Although I would have really liked to see a switch to Face ID. You can now transfer files at 10GB per second, which actually comes in clutch, as it allows me to transfer files quickly to my SSD drive. But for me, it's how good this feels on my hands. It literally feels like a larger phone rather than an iPad. I mean, when putting my phone and the iPad mini side by side, they are very similar in size. We have a 12 megapixel wide rear camera and a 12 megapixel ultra wide front camera. The color options are space grey, purple, starlight and blue, which is the one I went for. And I really like the frosted finish on the aluminium chassis, which I think looks great. The base model now offers 128GB of storage with 8GB of RAM, and I have no complaints about that, but I genuinely think 256GB should be the bare minimum. But my major issue has to be those thick bezels, because I feel like the iPad mini is already small enough, so it would have been nice if Apple stretched that display out even more and gave us a design with thinner bezels so that we can make the most out of its display. The 8.3-inch liquid retina display is not so bad because it still delivers that amazing image quality. But picture this, let's say the iPad mini 7 came with an OLED display at 120Hz. It would literally be insane, and it could even end up being the best selling iPad model in the entire lineup. This screen comes with a 500 nits liquid retina display at 60Hz, while maintaining that 3:2 aspect ratio. But honestly, 500 nits of brightness on this device does feel a little underwhelming. And believe me, I'm not saying 500 nits isn't good. It's just that with so many phones this year raising the bar on screen brightness, it would have been great to see the iPad mini follow along. Although in bright outdoor conditions, I would say it's not so bad, but you are going to have to deal with the reflections when studying outdoors. With the iPad mini, we don't get Stage Manager, but instead we have the split view option, so it would allow you to work on 2 things simultaneously, and it really does come in perfect clutch. If you like, you can even switch up your workflow and actually connect this to an external display, and it can support up to one 4K display at 60Hz, which is pretty cool for multitasking, or you can even use it as a second or third display. The iPad mini 7 supports both the Apple Pencil Pro and Apple Pencil USB-C. However, the Apple Pencil 2 is not supported. I currently only have the Apple Pencil USB-C, and it works flawlessly on this device. If you're a student or someone who takes a lot of notes, combining the Apple Pencil with your iPad can turn out to be one of the most important decisions you can make to improve your workflow. Also, the 3:2 aspect ratio makes it perfect for note-taking and carrying it around with you on the go. You can also opt for the Apple Pencil Pro, where you can take advantage of features like the squeeze gesture, gyroscope, and custom haptic feedback. When docking the Apple Pencil, it just fits seamlessly with its overall design. This video is not sponsored by anyone, but for students, I would highly recommend combining Notability and Notion together to fully optimize your workflow. I mean, Notability has a bunch of crazy features, and partnering that with Notion just makes it even better. Writing on it feels great, and here's exactly what it sounds like. And if you want that real paper feel experience, you can always opt for a paper-like screen protector. If you are already in the Apple ecosystem, the Mini is a brilliant addition to your collection. You can seamlessly share files via AirDrop from one Apple device to another. This is useful if you have a document that perhaps needs to be signed. You could share it to the Mini, sign it, and share it back. The iPad Mini also supports wireless printing. If you have an AirPrint compatible printer, files can be printed wirelessly directly from the Mini. The 12 megapixel front camera comes in perfect clutch for those video calls. The iPad Mini 7's 12 megapixel camera delivers sharp images, even capturing 12 megapixel wide at f1.8, with digital zoom up to 5 times, autofocus, panorama up to 63 megapixels, auto stabilization, geotagging, and we also have Smart HDR4 added on this year. You can record 4K videos at up to 60 frames per second, and it's actually pretty good quality if you need to capture something for work. But let's cut to the chase. The camera on this iPad will definitely come in clutch when you need to scan your document, pages, notes, and much more. I genuinely think it could serve its purpose on helping keep all your notes well organized and prevent you from carrying a bunch of books. The iPad Mini 7 has an A17 Pro chip, which packs a 6-core CPU, 5-core GPU, and a 16-core neural engine, as it did for the iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max. I got this one with 512GB of storage, which I think should be the bare minimum. But then again, this makes it a very powerful device for gaming or even performing some video editing tasks on CapCut. Honestly, I can show you guys Geekbench numbers, but I feel like it's not an accurate representation of day-to-day usage. So I'm going to stress test the crap out of this device and see how it holds up. So I've literally got 2 tabs open at the same time as I'm taking notes, and I have a movie running at the same time, and there are multiple tabs all open at the same time. And I'm taking notes using the Apple Pen, and everything is running smoothly, although it was getting a little hot, which is normal I guess. I also connected my keyboard to type up some notes, and everything was just working flawlessly. Now for the battery, Apple are claiming up to 10 hours of surfing the web on Wi-Fi or watching videos. Now I'm just going to talk about this from my experience so far. I began filming roughly at around 10 AM and I ended up finishing at around 6 PM, and to my surprise it was still holding on. Of course I wasn't using it continuously, but then again it still held on. When charging this device, we are getting about 20 watts. This truly puts it into perspective on how good the battery is on this device, and it would definitely be great for all the students out there. And despite me constantly pushing it to its limits, and also thanks to the new A17 Pro chip, which truly combines performance and efficiency very well. The Mini 7 starts at $499. The base model now comes with 128GB, though in 2024, 256GB should be the bare minimum. But overall, this year we have faster performance, more storage, a portable design, gorgeous display, and a long battery life. And those reasons may be strong selling points for many. I wouldn't recommend upgrading the storage to more than 256GB because at this point you're better off investing in a SSD drive. Also, if your institution is eligible for Apple's educational discount, you can always knock off a few dollars, so you will be getting it at a starting price of $449 instead of $499. Alright, let me keep this quick and straight to the point for you guys. Now, the iPad Mini is an absolute game changer for students, thanks to its compact size and portability. It's perfect for studying on the go, sliding into any bag, and being ready to take out whenever. But let's talk about the flip side. While the small form factor is convenient, it may not be ideal for everything, especially note-taking. If you're someone who writes a lot of notes, the smaller screen would mean constant scrolling in all directions, which can get really frustrating. Another downside is the lack of Stage Manager. Unlike the iPad Pro, you're limited to split view multitasking, which can be restrictive if you're used to juggling multiple apps at once. And lastly, the battery. If you're planning on heavy use throughout the day, be prepared as it may not last. So therefore you might need to carry a power bank, as the Mini's battery doesn't hold up as well as the iPad Pro's. Now, deciding if the iPad Mini is for you really comes down to your needs. Are you always on the move, prioritizing portability and convenience? Or do you need a larger screen for productivity and multitasking, especially if you don't own a bigger laptop or a MacBook. For quick tasks on the go, I love the iPad mini and I absolutely recommend it. But if you're on a budget, definitely consider the iPad mini 6, since it has probably dropped in price and there's not that much of a difference between the two. If you have any questions or thoughts about the iPad mini, drop them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. And until then, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.